Thank you. David Rowlands.
There are many actions taken by the Welsh Government which we in UKIP would criticise. However, we feel we have a duty to the people of Wales to support the Welsh Government where we feel their actions have largely been correct. The birth of the Transport for Wales Rails franchise in October last year was a pivotal moment for the future of public transport for Wales. The previous operator's 15-year franchise envisaged zero growth in passenger numbers. This assumption proved to be a wild underestimate as passenger numbers escalated year on year over the term of the last franchise, which inevitably resulted in chronic overcrowding, particularly on the core valley lines. The process for the new franchise was a massive undertaking for the Welsh Government, and we in UKIP want to pay tribute to the work of the Minister Ken Skates and his department in securing a franchise that promises to deliver new trains, increased connectivity and better facility for passengers. Indeed, there is much to look forward to in the coming years. The use of the competitive dialogue process seems to have been completely vindicated. Although the first days under the new operator were perhaps a little rocky, with delays and cancellations of services caused by a shortage of rolling stock, it is important to note that transformative change was never going to happen overnight. Compare that shaky start, however, to the performance last week, when much of the Wales was blanketed in snow and many trains were running on time or with minimal delays. I think that one of the issues that this highlights is that the rail operators, both past and current, have been walking a tightrope with regard to rolling stock. There are only 3 locomotive leasing companies in the UK. This, combined with the delayed electrification projects in England, meaning that diesel units cannot be cascaded, has made the procurement of new or even refurbished rolling stock extremely difficult, particularly in the short term. The Minister's announcement of 5 4-car Class 769 trains to operate on the South Wales Valleys lines, together with the introduction of rebuilt Class 230 trains, will provide some short-term relief before new trains can be sourced and delivered. If we combine the various metro projects, such as totally refurbished stations and, in some cases, new stations, passengers should see transformative improvements over the life of the new franchise. Whilst we look forward to these improvements, we also intend to hold the Welsh Government to task over its actual implementation. Of course, it is fair to say that the Welsh railway network has suffered from underinvestment over a long period of time. Successive Westminster governments of all colours have contributed to this, and I see no point in conducting a historic political blame game at this time. What both the UK and Welsh governments must now do is to work together to drive forward improvements. It is for this reason, that I welcome the report from Professor Mark Barry on the case for investment in the rail network here in Wales. The report makes a compelling call for transforming the rail network right across the whole of Wales, not just in the commuter belts of South and North Wales. I think we should also be broadly positive of the Williams review. I am hopeful that it will take a broad and independent look at the future of rail throughout the UK without resorting to finger-pointing at who is to blame for the failures of the past. Most important to me, it seems, is to rebuild public confidence in the railways of the future. Broadly speaking, the railways in the UK are experiencing a true renaissance, with the increase in passenger and freight numbers resulting in fewer cars and lorries on our roads. We cannot view Wales in isolation. There is no hard border between Wales and England, and of course many routes on our network extend into England. So whatever the Williams review finally recommends, we on these benches would urge the Welsh Government to work constructively and collegiately with the UK Government to deliver a rail network that truly serves the people of Wales. We will of course support the Welsh Government in pressing for the Williams review findings to be implemented in Wales. I cannot pass this moment, declare it, without having to contradict the remarks made by the AM for Blaenau Gwent, where he says that a rail link into Newport is totally unnecessary. That is not what I find from people on the ground. They are desperate to have that link in. And why should the city of Newport be treated as a second-class citizen to that of Cardiff? It's an appalling comment from you, and you can, of course, I will give way.
You've just said it's an appalling comment and talking about Newport. I was focusing my remarks on the people of Blaenau Gwent, who I represent.
Well, of course, I don't know if you were actually talking to the people of Blaenau Gwent, because that certainly isn't what's coming to me from the people of Blaenau Gwent. They want a connection into Newport in exactly the same way as they want a connection into Cardiff. That is the fact.